What's up, everybody? This is track number 3, UFC 420. I am your host, along with my co-host. I'm the Rook, Jared May, and I'm joined by...
Hunter Poole, the kid.
Welcome in once again. We got some pretty exciting stuff for you guys. A lot of stuff. And, the good thing about, obviously it's not primetime football season right now, but the good thing about now is we live in a world where something happens like every 3 seconds. So there's always something going on, which that's good. But so we found some stuff to talk about, even though it's been, it kind of sucks without. We're in that dead zone. There's like no college baseball just ended, NBA just ended, NHL just ended. Baseball's in the middle of the season, but there's 162 games, so it's like whatever. We're approaching the All-Star game, and then you got football that starts, later this year. So we're in that dead zone.
So you're telling me you're so close-minded that when there's no football going on, no sports, you don't even realize that there's stuff going on around the world. Are you really that close-minded, bro?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully you're speaking to the audience on that one, because
no comment.
Because we're here to open eyes. We're here to make you woke.
I mean, we're pretty woke people, so I mean, we can get it going. You know how we do.
You know how we roll. But yeah, so we got a couple topics for you guys today. We're going to talk about the Titanic Submarine that imploded just a couple days ago, which that was some pretty wild stuff. We got a pretty cool quarterback challenge ranking system that we're going to try out here in just a little bit. We're going to talk about a little bit of the indoctrination of children with all this pride stuff going on, which has shocked a lot of the world, especially some NFL players have commented on it on Twitter. Then we're going to have, of course, our Deluxe TRAKs, our couple highlights from the news. Some NFL power rankings, way too early. 2023 NFL power rankings are going to name our top 5 teams. And we got, of course, our track record of the week to finalize it. So hope you guys enjoy the ride. But we're going to start out with the Titanic Submarine. Now, this one was pretty crazy, and we both were talking about it and saying there was a lot of jokes about it. I don't know if it's appropriate to joke about it, but at the end of the day, it's such a stupid mistake that you kind of can't help but go, that's kind of funny. But it's not funny that they died. But I mean, my God. But here's what we know about it. So it was made out of like this carbon fiber titanium, which does not expand well under pressure. So, and the guy that the pilot knew this before going in, which I think is pretty strange. He was like, "Yeah, I know the science, I know the laws, but I decided to do it this way." And then look where it got. It was not certified. It was they're signing up for this 8-hour trip for like $250K a ticket for this remote operated vehicle, ROV. It's an extremely poor and unintelligent design, like I said, which is very bizarre to me. And according to the thing, so it's also 23,000 pounds, and it can keep 5 people alive for 96 hours. So all of that just went straight out the freaking window into a dumpster fire.
Milliseconds.
Yeah. And so, I mean, there was a lot of speculation about what actually happened, because some people think it's not like, I don't know, the information's so out of control, because you got like the mainstream media that's reporting one thing, and then you got the other, like the Navy saying another, and then you got us doing our own research and going on to like wherever we can find valid information and seeing what could have possibly happened. There was theories that, there's a safe system within the Titanic submarine that basically like you can't open it from the inside. A mothership is waiting for it to like resurface. And so you have to like open it from the outside, which I thought was pretty interesting. But they think that there's a chance. I don't think they think this anymore, but they think that there was a chance that it hit that failsafe and like the floaters brought it to the top, and that it's just drifting off in the ocean somewhere. That was another theory.
I don't know about that one, but
yeah, I don't know, and I don't know how long ago that was. Probably right when the news broke. Those people that have like headlines on there and they're talking. So here's what happened, and you're just like, okay, whatever.
Well, didn't the Navy crew like they heard an explosion like pretty like right after it like went down, right? Like they heard it, like, but they didn't mention it until Thursday of last week,
Yeah.
5 days ago.
Yep. Yeah, that's correct. And another thing they talked about as well is that the technology that they have that can kind of radar the area is so high tech that that's how they found out that it happened, but they didn't acknowledge it or let the public know until hours or a day or so later. Which why didn't they report something like that?
And it's not like something that like a U.S. You wouldn't expect it's like the U.S. Navy to do something like that, and it's kind of you know eye opening, woke in a way because you're just like,
You're like, wait, what? Like,
what
why
the
would they keep that?
yeah.
And so another thing that I thought was interesting as well is that I still don't really know who was on the ship. Like who were those four passengers plus the pilot? And I think and who, I guess this has been they've been doing this for a while. I think this isn't the first time that they've submerged to go see the Titanic. And I've seen some footage about like what they saw down there, and it's pretty interesting how the Titanic looks. I can understand that could be something extremely interesting to look at. Which then again, is it the Titanic or the Olympus? If you know that theory, I definitely encourage to go check that out. But like I mentioned earlier, it imploded. So I mean, if you don't know what that is, I don't know, Hunter, if you've seen videos about like an example. Like I don't know if you've seen like those like those train carriers that like carry chemical gas and they pressurize super and they just suffocate in an instant. And there's also like people you could do it with like a soda can, put it over like a fire, and then I guess put it in salt or something, like some type of substance in a pan, and the cup will just shrink like that. So they're saying that that's kind of what happened down there. Um, but they died in like milliseconds. I mean, that seems like impossible to comprehend when you think about like our human biology, and you can't fathom something so quick, so fast. Besides, making love to your girlfriend, that's super fast and it's not very long lasting. But this is like 8 times that speed.
And with that, they're just like, was it like an inside job, with the because they don't like the government is always doing like shady shit, and it's just
Yeah.
it's been like that for a minute, like inside jobs, stuff like that. So you have the Titanic, which some people don't even believe that even happened.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
like they have like I've seen a couple of theories about it, and then they have the billionaire and his little family, going down there to go explore it. And if they were capable of actually getting down there, what would they find?
Right.
And then within milliseconds, you know, exploded, and it was not reported until, like we said, Thursday, which is 4 days after they went down. And the Navy comes out and said, "Oh yeah, we heard something, but didn't think anything of it." It's
We
like
thought it might have just been like a perch or something like that, maybe nicking the top, and you're just like, mm,
it's
right.
just shady, like it really is, and it's you know
Yeah. I mean,
always that
have you
family.
heard that theory about the Titanic in general?
About like how because when did the Titanic was that 1930?
It's 13 something. I think it's right before World War One.
Okay, it's before World War One, and so it was hit by an iceberg, correct?
Yes.
And then
So the theory is, and it gets wild because it applies to what's about to happen in the United States today, actually the world today. So if you don't know already, there's basically a group of people that run the planet. The United States does not operate technically on government
the elite,
issues. There's an elite that's above. Like, you can call it a deep state, but at the end of the day, it's your bankers. It's your Federal Reserve, that reserve currency that they started, a private bank, the Rothschilds, the Soros, people like that. So what they believe, there was a sister ship that was identical to the Titanic called the Olympus. And the creator of this knew that there was there was some type of hatch or injury to the Olympus that could have been fatal if you took it out. So it was under maintenance. But anyway, the theory is that they swapped the names because they're completely identical, same size, everything. They swap the names. They bring the Titanic out there. all the richest people, you've seen the movie, all the richest people get on that plane or get on that submarine or Titanic, the ship, sorry. And it's the richest people in the world. The Rothschilds were about to enter into the Titanic, but backed out last second because they were sick or whatever. But the interesting thing is that they were trying to implement the Federal Reserve, the bank that exists today. And before they got on, like I said, they backed out, and the bankers obviously died. They hit an iceberg, and that was basically like insurance. It was rumored to be sabotage. And so it goes down. All those bankers that basically were denying the federal bank from existing for the Rothschilds are dead. And so days, months later, the Federal Reserve, pink, stamp it, it's official. And now you got the Federal Reserve and the central bank currency going on, and the Rothschilds and the source, they all run the world. So you think, was it sabotage or was it just a coincidence? Now, on this podcast, what me and you like to do is basically question everything. And I don't know what you think about that. I believe that it probably was. It's dirty. If you think about documentation, the lack of technology back in the day, it's so easy to cover up. Think about it.
It's a coincidence. Like it's
Yeah.
It's not just like something. Oh, that just happened to be there. It's not. No, if you would still believe that the government does not, or deep state elites don't have their hand in everything, like wake up, because it's. And you just and then a big example would just being like seeing Twitter nowadays. Like now, like Elon takes it over, and so if you say something that's like not correct, like they'll like get on that ass real quick, and then they'll put like, well, actually, so blank, blank, blank actually exists. And before, the government could like say things, and Twitter just believes anything they see. But now
they're questioning.
Now you could question everything. So everything you see, if it's not correct, then they're gonna correct you on there. And it's kind of Elon kind of, letting the world see like how it can be controlled, how the government does have their hands in things. You got the Twitter files and all that, and we're about to see a bunch of things change.
Yeah, and there's a huge.
It might be too late by then.
I think it is probably too late, but at the same time, there's a large awakening, and that's for certain. But with all this being said, if without knowing what happened to this Titanic submarine, and you had the money to do this and go down, it's been done before or whatever, and you didn't know that it was made out of carbon fiber and titanium or whatever, and you didn't know that this happened, and you had the money. Let's say you're gobbing rich. Would you pay that money to go down in the submarine and check out the Titanic?
How do I say this in the nicest way? Fuck no, because I do not mess with the ocean like that.
Me neither, bro. Dude, I don't even like getting more than shoulders deep in the ocean.
I don't even know what is an ocean at this point. And all these, if you want to find a way to like just disappear your existence to this planet, just get enough money and go see the Titanic, stuff like that. That is how you just, you're opening up a can of worms, and the deep state and all that, they can make anything look like an accident. I watch shows like that on Netflix. I know they're fictional, but same, like you see how it operates, and it's the same thing like in the government now. But frankly, no, I would not. I would spend on other things.
Hell no, me neither. I would not. I think I hate the ocean more than anybody. I think what is it? 90% of it's unexplored anyway, or more than that. It's like 95% of the ocean is not even explored.
The ocean, it's been like 3% explored.
Yeah, like come on, and it's 70% of the Earth?
The Earth's made of, what is it? How much percentage of the world is made of water?
I think it's 70% water.
Yeah, and only 3% has been. Like another one would be like the Bermuda Triangle. Yeah, you won't catch it.
Yeah, no.
And that's the same thing with this Titanic. I would not.
Yeah, and not to mention the podcast we had just a couple weeks ago about the freaking aliens coming out of the water, bro. Like that's another. You're like, what? It's and then the rumors that the megalodon is real. I mean, you could just go on for days. I mean, hell, there's a Bible story about Jonah who was literally cast off the ship because he betrayed God's order, and he was swallowed by a fish and taken to the bottom of the ocean. I mean, come on. It doesn't even specify what kind of creature it was. I mean, they say it's a whale with all the children's stories, but it's not actually a whale. It's a large sea monster. Like what?
Would you go down there if you had the money?
No. No, I mean, I would take all the money that I had right there, even if I was had a gun to my head and say, "Hey, you're going down here." I would tell him to pull the trigger. I would say, "I am ready to meet my maker."
How that's pretty. That's you really do hate the ocean more than anybody. I will believe you on that statement now.
Yeah, I'm ready to meet God.
Go die. You want to go see a Titanic or let him pull the trigger before you even get in the water? That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's like hell no.
That's tough.
I mean, it's the same thing going to space. You're just gonna hit the glass when you get up. I'm just kidding, but yeah. So that's basically the Titanic submarine. I mean, it's a tragedy. R.I.P. to those people. That sucks. I mean, that's a bad break. But shit happens.
That's right.
Shit happens. But yeah, let's get into our little track ranking. So we got a little quarterback challenge for you guys today. So I'm going to ask Hunter who to name the 5 prior quarterbacks to the quarterbacks that I list. So I'm going to give him 5, and he's going to name the quarterback that had his job right before him. So this should be pretty interesting, pretty challenging. But the first one, if you're ready.
I'm ready. I don't know what you're gonna hit me with, but
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna try my best.
All right. So this we're gonna start a little soft. All right. Trevor Lawrence, who was the quarterback that was before him? There's multiple answers.
Blake Bortles.
Negative.
Shit.
Think. Say it again.
Blaine Gabbert.
Close. It was Mike Glennon and Gardner Minshew.
Minshew, bro. Okay.
Minshew magic, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
All
Right. Sorry. Woo.
right. This is a tough one. If you get this one, I will personally turn off this stream, drive up to where you are, and give you some head.
Please
be right.
Please be right.
Please get it right. Drew Brees.
Drew Brees in New Orleans.
I knew this is the tough one, bro.
Drew Brees in New Orleans.
I thought since you might know it because you've been you have a lot of knowledge of Tony Romo in that era. So I was thinking maybe you might know this guy.
Drew Brees was in he started in 06?
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah.
Okay, Drew Brees.
It's a little outside.
Who was it was I think
Any guesses?
what's his name start with?
An A. Last name with a B. His name sounds like an NBA player.
Oh my gosh, AB.
This is the hardest one on here.
I'm gonna go with Alex Brand.
It's Aaron Brooks.
I know that name, dude. I would have.
I did not know it, and I was like, "Who was it?" I was like, "Oh." I thought anyway. That's the hardest one on the list by far. The third is Andrew Luck.
Hey man.
Yes, there we go. There we go. We're on track now, baby.
Let's go. Right.
This is kind of a tough one. Little hint: he's from Oklahoma. Carson Wentz. Right before Carson Wentz.
Sam Bradford.
Correct. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, let's go. All right, this one's tough. Eagles legend, RG3.
I know this answer. Right before, I had a feeling when I knew we were gonna do this, I was like, I bet you he says RG3, bro. RG3.
This is a legend.
Tracy Campbell.
Negative. Eagles legend. You're in the right area, the right skin color.
Eagles legend.
So to give you another hint, we have a friend that says this guy's name all the time when he's excited about a certain someone that plays for the Eagles now at wide receiver. Every single time, in all caps.
Oh, Donovan McMahon.
Yeah. Dude, I forgot that he played for the Redskins. Oh, shit, I'm sorry, the Commanders. But yeah. So Trevor Lawrence, Minshew was his prior quarterback. Drew Brees, Aaron Brooks, Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, Carson Wentz, Sam Bradford, and then RG3, Donovan McNabb. That's a tough one. And next week, you have my full permission to do that to me.
That Drew Brees one caught me off guard, but I remember Aaron Brooks. I remember that name.
Yeah, I heard the name and I was like, okay, yeah, I remember who this guy is very vaguely because I remember drafting him some Madden games. I was like, yeah, Aaron Brooks.
That's funny you say it. That is an NBA player's name. I know. Aaron Brooks
Yeah.
played on the Rockets.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah,
we're on track, baby. We're on track.
They're definitely not the same skin color though. That was fun. That was fun. But I'm coming for your head top next week.
Huh?
You better start.
I need to hear a pause before we go to the next segment.
Yeah, you better start studying as soon as this ends, because.
Ends go straight to Safari. All right. This next topic, I'm letting you take the wheels. This is our Pride Parade video. This is the one you were real excited about.
Yeah, that. We gonna play the video?
I'd have to find it, but I'll let you start talking about it, then I'll find it. I can find it quick.
So for y'all who haven't seen the video, it's going all around Twitter, and this is the video that Jared talked about. NFL players were, commenting on it. You got Kayvon Frazier and Darius Slayton, both NFC East guys. And give a gist of this video. It's a gay pride parade, and they start singing this song. And the chant goes, "We're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children." And, they're constantly saying it. And people are, there's people who are speaking up, but then you look at it and why are people even beginning to be okay with people chanting this? Like, where's the moral in that? And when I saw it, just made my skin boil for hours. I'm at work, I see the video, and it's just absolute disgrace. I know a couple podcasts ago talked about not having a problem with, gay people or trans stuff like that. But when it comes to saying this stuff, and it's kind of where we were getting out with like the Joe Biden thing too, it's just, that's bullshit. You're basically just mocking people who are saying like, don't go for the kids, like Nick Merckx, Call of Duty saying, we're going to take you out of the shop. Like, we support Pride Month. And you got parents who are taking their kids to these parades where there's naked men, 6-year-old
girls, that's disgusting.
With these trans going around saying, we're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children. And why would anybody who is an actual true, gay person because they want to be gay, or like even a trans who wants to like transition, why would you even be okay with partaking in something like this? And it's just,
it wouldn't make. I mean, like even the true people that like just want to be gay because that's just how they feel or whatever. I mean, that's like, it just seems like they've been, not only have the children been indoctrinated, but even them have been indoctrinated into believing this crap. It's crap. And it honestly, I don't want to sit on the sidelines for it. I'm so sick and tired of this crap. I'm so like, quit shoving it in my face. I already don't have a voice, even though we have this platform. Me, you, and people like us, a lot of people that are other, like not even thinking like us, do not have a voice in this because it just gets constantly shoved down our throats on Netflix, on Twitter. Every commercial you see somebody. I mean, it's just like, my God. I mean, even this platform that we're streaming on right now. I mean, their spokesperson is. I mean, it's just it's a never-ending circus, and I'm so tired of playing by the rules And it's time to step up and say something. I mean, we keep saying it's time to step up and say something, but then everybody just kind of types their fingers. I mean, enough is enough. If you don't believe in something, you shouldn't be. We live in a country, we used to live in a country where the freedom of ideas is something that all of us can enjoy. But now we can't even believe what's normal. We can't even believe the truth. And the truth is like their trigger word, like I mentioned in a couple, episodes ago. And it's just, I'm so infuriated by it. And so I have the video here, and I'll show it to you guys. And you guys can interpret it for yourselves. But I mean, it's just, you'll see.
And it's like, they don't. I thought calling someone queer is like a derogatory term. I don't know why they're calling themselves queers. Like, I'm kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a lot of slurs. Everybody seems to use them, but it's offensive towards their own people. But then they continue to use it. It just doesn't make any sense. All right, so here we go. Sing along. Viewer discretion is advised.
Like, what the fuck is there? Like, what is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's first of all, it's disgusting, and two, all of them look like NPCs, and three, it's evil, it's satanic. I mean, I've said this all the time off record. Every time people starts bringing this crap up, you said, "Do you know that this kind of ideology literally got obliterated from the planet? Like in Sodom and Gomorrah. I mean, this is wicked." And they hear, like, it's a lot of, we always joke about with sports takes and stuff. Are you hearing the language that I'm speaking right now? And they can't see past the names, but it's wicked. And if you know what wicked is, it's not. You don't have to say fuck or a certain cuss word for it to mean something, in nefarious or whatever. But it's wicked. I mean, it's disgusting. It's vile. And, with all this sex trafficking stuff that's, going around, all these rings, these pedophiles, these quote unquote now minor attracted people, which you're like me and you both are just furious about. It's disgusting. And, as parents, we're, sooner or later, hopefully not now, but sooner or later, me and you are going to be fathers probably, and we're going to have kids, and we're going to raise these children in this atmosphere. And I tell you what, I am not putting my kid, if I live to tell the tale that long, please God, but I am not raising my kid in a public school system. It's going to be a protected curriculum. No matter, I may have to damn homeschool my kids, which I've always been against, but I am not. I mean, they're putting this in schools. They're removing religion, and this is the religion now. You either get with it or you get lost. But at the end of the day, they can't run this country. If we decided one day to stand up and make a change, it would happen, because people like us are just so fed up with it and so passionate about our, patriotic beliefs, which patriotic now is an offensive word. They're targeting people with the name patriotic. I mean, there's been people that have created these safe camps or survivalist thing. If anything bad happened, you can start. There's this community. We have ammo, we have food, we have this, that, and they're all near your area. And it's a website where basically you can kind of join a community. And the government labeled the guy that created that as a domestic terrorist. I mean, what world are we living in now? And it's, I'd rather be off of it than on it.
Yeah, if you can't tell, I'm just kind of. I'm just fed up, bro.
I don't want you to hold back, though. I want to hear exactly what you're thinking.
It's not about me holding back. It's just like, man. Also, just what is a woman documentary? Like, that one was insane too. Like,
yeah, that one broke the internet.
Like, like we said a couple podcasts ago, you can see why they didn't want it out. It was, he's talking to these professionals who were saying, "Oh, it's okay, it's puberty blockers, if they want to, if you're 5 years old and you want to be a girl because you want to play with dolls, like, we can go get you transitioned, but if you're a 9-year-old boy you don't know what you want if you want to go to Hooters or go look at some women. You don't know. You're not old enough to decide that.
Right.
And man, it's crazy. That's
Yeah. I mean, what was that text you sent me earlier today that about the 12-year-old? You said that a 12-year-old can do this. You remember what it was? So you said something like a 12-year-old. God, what was it? It was something about.
because yeah, like the Chris Hansen stuff,
Yes.
like a 12-year-old. You know, you can't mess around with a 12-year-old like a minor, but then like with this, it's like what's the difference? Like
Yeah. You can.
children.
Right. Yeah. It makes. It's completely backwards. It's twisted. It's evil. And I've always believed that there's some type of a spiritual influence over what's going on. And when I say stuff like that, people look at me like I'm crazy. But I mean, read your Bibles. But another thing that's attached to this as well is if you guys are unaware, there's people that stream Call of Duty and stuff like that. But you got this Nick Merckx guy who's like I guess a top 3 video game streamer for Call of Duty and other platforms like that. He's on Twitch and whatever. And so he just recently had a kid, and he tweeted out that to leave the children alone. And the dude get Call of Duty of all companies, Call of Duty and Activision remove his skin, his playable character on Call of Duty, remove his skin from Call of Duty, ban him from Call of Duty. He's not playing it anymore, and said that released a statement that's saying, "Hey, we did this. We removed him." So the players like Dr. Disrespect are uninstalling the game, to stand with Nick Merckx. It's just, I mean, you got to feel for the guy. I mean, you got to understand where he's coming from too. He explained it, on social media that he just had a kid and he was worried about raising this kid in the environment, like I just mentioned a second ago. And then, this stuff happened, and people, when he said it, DM'd him and were backlashing him and turning their backs on Nick Merckx. And the dude probably feels heavily alone right now, but it's so wrong in so many ways. I mean, my God, I mean, it's your own kid. You should be able to say, it's not far fetched to say something like that one bit. So
Yeah.
I get so infuriated with this crap.
Yeah. Little borderland over here.
Yeah. All right. Well, God, I can talk about that all day, but let's get into our deluxe tracks. This is our if you don't know if you don't know what the deluxe tracks are, this is kind of our news highlights of the week. We're gonna go through it fast, just kind of like some quick 1, 2, 3 marks from each of us, and then we go on to the next segment. So let's, Hunter, if you want to go first, I'll start with your deluxe tracks, and I'll finish it off, and then we'll go to the next segment.
All right, guys, the deluxe tracks. Let's try to make this quick, and I'll just make this as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Number 1, Astros suck. We suck so bad right now. We lose Jordan, we lose a couple of pitchers, we start trading, and for some reason, Jordan's gone. We forget how to hit the ball. We're getting swept in series. Christian Javier, you're not playing to your peak. We need you to step it up. Astros, you're not looking too hot. Another thing, I hit a jackpot last Friday for 500 bones.
Yes, sir.
On Prize Picks, so try to keep those picks posted and hopefully help everybody make some money. I don't win all the time, but when I do, I like to share the wealth. I kind of mentioned that in one of my track records of the week.
Respect.
And number 3, I stopped playing COD because of Nick Merckx, and I would not be partaking in COD anymore. And that is my deluxe tracks of the week.
Respect. That's respect. So the College World Series just ended. LSU versus Florida. LSU defeated Florida in Game 3 of the College World Series in Omaha, marking yet another SEC-dominated NCAA tournament. LSU is now the champion of both the women's NCAA basketball tournament and the College World Series. And then in recent news on social media, Elon Musk announced that he wanted to go against Mark Zuckerberg in a UFC bout. So this event is entirely possible, and media PR between the two has already begun. Musk posed the question of when the LGBT IDGAF Zuck is a simp QI plus month is over yet. He asked if, which was a troll against Mark Zuckerberg, while also photographically trolling Zuckerberg. So UFC 420 must occur, and any rational human should side with Elon Musk rather than the lizard, the Zuck. Uh, Also, last one, The Sound of Freedom. This is a movie from Jim Caviezel. It's releasing July 4th in theaters. The movie is an intense, stomach turning realization into an evil industry that has passed both the illegal arms and drug trade. The movie dives heavily into the billion-dollar global sex trafficking industry of children. Alternatively, Mel Gibson soon after is producing a 4-part documentary series addressing the $34 billion Hollywood sex trafficking ring. So flood the theaters and wake up to the satanic prejudice of God's children. Sound of Freedom is in theaters July 4th, and that is our deluxe tracks of the day. That was probably our quickest one, honestly.
Oh yeah, we made that quick, and that was actually our best one, I think.
Well, sooner or later we'll get some background music too. That would be live, bro.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, we should do like Rocky music. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, some Apollo Creed music, some Rocky, some Gunna.
Hey, fuck you, man, right? That song goes hard, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
you were listening today on the way home, right?
Oh yeah, I was like, let's see what this is about, because you said, hey, check out the post, and I was like, oh yeah, and I totally forgot that we had that picture anyway. The one that we posted on Instagram, or you posted on Instagram with both of us at Northgate, College Station.
Escape the Matrix, man. He's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
That shit goes stupid.
Hey, what was that phrase that you said about? I didn't know that. I asked a lot of my coworkers and people if they had ever heard this term before about throwing up. What's the one that you said?
Oh, ripping out your shoes. Yeah, because you're like.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, you said what's crazy about that night is, I was, extremely like you were way more extremely drunk than I was, and like because you were like screaming out your shoes that night, and I was like, I was screaming out my shoes. What? I don't remember that. And he goes, that's a term for throwing up. I was like, oh, yeah. I was on the ground eating a cinnamon roll, like basically off the floor, and then I like Vietnam foxhole army crawled into the bathroom to scream at my shoes. So that was a dark part of my life.
You're no longer there, though.
Yeah, so let's get into our way too early NFL power rankings for the 2023 NFL season. We're just going to go through our top 5. We're gonna, I might mention my 6 through 10, but we're going to focus on our top 5 and why that you have those 5 teams in there. Just a little brief something or other. But yeah, I'll go first. I'm going to start from 5, and I'm going to end at 1. So my number 5 team is the 49ers. So this I still think they're a top 3 offensive weapon arsenal team in the NFL. They still got a great offensive line. Their coordinator, Kyle Shanahan, is a mastermind at scheming the run game and the play action and getting those guys like you've mentioned, Hunter, like during the pass play that could be an RPO or whatever. The receivers are kind of already blocking downfield. It's such a master class of a scheme. They got a riveting defense, still top 3 in the NFL, the number 1 rushing defense in the league last year, I believe. And then, the reason why I don't put them higher and I could have put them lower is the quarterback controversy that they have right now. We don't know who's going to be the starter. Trey Lance isn't who they promised to be. Obviously, we talked about Brock Purdy in previous podcasts, with the UCL injury. The medical guy came on and gave us a diagnosis for that. And then, I think Shanahan will resolve that. And I think Sam Darnold might be a sleeper. But let's switch it up. I'll let you do your 5, and we'll just alternate like that. That way, I'm not talking forever.
Oh yeah, for sure. Number 5, I'm gonna have our Dallas Cowboys at number
Respect.
5. With the Dallas Cowboys, they did upgrade on offense and defense with like Brandon Cooks, Stephon Gilmore. I'm still questioning the healthiness of what Dak can play for a full year.
Okay.
And with that, I'm also not for sure how is Mike McCarthy going to call plays. I know he likes to be run heavy, but we're getting a running back who has never been a 3-down back before. We didn't really draft a replacement kind of 3-down back to begin with. Kind of questions like that. But even to say the less, they still have Dan Quinn, Michael Parsons. They got the defense of Trayvon Gilmore. They brought back most of their pieces. They still got pieces on the offense, and they can definitely creep up, but way too early. Just a couple question marks and kind of offensive coordinator, coach,
Yeah,
QB health. I got to put them at 5 for now.
absolutely. And that's funny. That brings me to my number 4. My number 4 was the Dallas Cowboys, and I basically had all of your points written down. One of the notes I had in there, though, was that we got a healthy Dak Prescott. This is his first healthy offseason. But obviously there are questions, and I acknowledge those. But you have a revamped offensive arsenal, obviously with Cooks and maybe an improved Jalen Tolbert, who's put on some muscle and has shown some signs of some improvement. Obviously, our defense is so scary. I mean, my gosh, our pass rush attack is top 3. Our interior was patched up with Mozzie Smith, as well as Jonathan Hankins. We got definitely a top 3 secondary, if not the best in the league for secondary. Both safeties, Trayvon Diggs and Stephon Gilmore at cornerback. So that's scary, and I think that'll carry the team more than the offense will. Even though I think that the offense will be extremely efficient with the way that Mike McCarthy has managed in the past. Obviously, the return of Dan Quinn, the departure of Moore, which we will see if that is that we got a Texas Coast offense is what they're calling it. It's a West Coast mixed with kind of like your Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott picks for the plays. So we'll be interested to see how that offense operates. And then McCarthy calling the plays like you mentioned, and Dak is orchestrating the offense, which I think is a good thing. But I have him slightly ahead of the 49ers simply because it's just we know who's going to be leading our team with Dak Prescott on offense. The 49ers don't know who's leading their team, and that could be a major thing. Obviously, they're our kryptonite. They beat us every year. But in team rankings, I would have Dallas ahead of the 49ers.
Yeah, that's good. I wish I could rank Cowboys number 1, but sadly, we have to be very objective on this podcast.
I think we need like 3 more Super Bowls to do that ever again.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen, but hopefully it does, right?
Yeah.
With my number 4, I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay, yeah.
They definitely got their quarterback and kind of wide receiver duo. They still got Joe Mixon. We'll see where he's going to do. We don't know who his backup's going to be. Will it be Ezekiel Elliott?
Trevion Williams, Giga Maggies.
And, they're always going to be competitive. They're probably going to win the AFC North. They're going to be battling with
Lamar.
Yeah, Lamar. They won the playoff game last year against the Ravens without Lamar Jackson, but it was a very controversial fumble at the 1, block in the back kind of deal.
Yeah, very close.
They lost to a Kansas City team that was a little hobbled, but they still were. It was still a close game, and Joe Burrow is obviously he keeps kind of getting better. The weapons are also helping him out, and just having the core like that, and then the defense not being too shabby. The offensive line looks like it's going to get better. They're signing guys. I think they signed. Was it who's the Chiefs guy?
The Bengals. I know they got Orlando Brown.
Yeah, see, he's gonna be make them better on the line. Lyle Collins had a rough year. We'll see what he can do, but just having Joe Burrow, you got to kind of not count him out. So at number 4, I'm gonna go with the Cincinnati Bengals.
I like that. We might have the same 5 teams in there, but my number 3 is the Eagles. I was going to have them higher, but I'm going to put them right here. But the run game got stronger, in my opinion. Even though they have 2 injury-prone running backs, I think they're 2 explosive guys, especially DeAndre Swift. They also got Rashad Penny. They still have Boston Scott and Galliman. Return of Jalen Hurts. They still got that incredible offensive line, Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey. So that's something to look forward to if you're an Eagles fan. And, the concern that I have, which is why I kind of put them back, and I could have put them a little lower, but, it's the Eagles are the Eagles. They're going to be a solid football team this year. no matter who the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator is, which was my concern. They lost both of them to two different teams. So it'll be interesting to see what if Nick Sirianni was truly, at least a majority of the brains of the operation over there with the Philadelphia Eagles, which we've discussed before in previous podcasts. We don't believe that he was, and that those guys did a really, Jonathan Gannon did a really good job over there. Obviously, they got a dominating Georgia-themed defense and a monster interior interior to defenders as well as box defenders. With Nakobe Dean and linebackers like that. So plus, just they got an above-average good secondary. But yeah, so they got the Eagles at number 3, and I expect them to be neck and neck with the Cowboys all year for NFC East champions.
The Philadelphia Bulldogs.
Yeah, the Philadelphia Bulldogs, the Georgia Eagles.
And at number 3, I'm going to have my least favorite team on the whole entire planet. I'm going to have the San Francisco 49ers. They are, as much as I hate to say it, you kind of hit it on the nail. You got Kyle Shanahan, you still got C-Mac, you have George Kittle, you got 2 above-average wide receivers and Debo and Ayuk. It doesn't necessarily matter who the quarterback is in that system. With a above-average quarterback, you can win at least 12 games, especially with that defense having, they got the guy from the Eagles, Hargrove.
Javon Hargrove. Yeah.
Yeah, so their defense is already good at run stop. Then they added him to the mix. They still got Fred Warner, Greenlaw. They have
Greenlaw's a beast, bro.
Yeah, they have the whole defense. And even if Trey Lance doesn't pan out like they think he's going to, they know they gave up a lot. They still have the mind of it, Kyle Shanahan. Losing DeMeco Ryans is probably going to be a little bit to adjust to begin with. But when you have a stud defense, especially a defense that's not super young where they haven't been with each other, like you said, Sam Darnold might be a little dark horse, might start.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised either. I think he's a, better quarterback than people may seem. You kind of have to look at the situations he's been. But, of course, this situation is going to be 50 times better than anything he's possibly been a part of, and it's not even close. But hate to say it, but at number 3, I'm going to have to go with the San Francisco Debo 49ers.
Bosa!
They have Nick Bosa too. I didn't even mention him, but they
interesting. Yeah. All right, yeah, my number 2 is the Cincinnati Bengals. I had them way up on the list. I don't think you should doubt Joe Burrow. I think he's probably close to the second best quarterback in the league. I think they have the top 3 wide receiver duo in the NFL, obviously with T. Higgins, who's a number 1, and you got Jamar Chase, who's arguably a top 5 or top 3 receiver in the league as well, but he's no doubt probably a top 5. They got a pretty good run game. Joe Mixon's returning, like you said. They patched up their O-line with Orlando Brown, which I'm pretty sure – I don't know, was he from the Chiefs or for the Ravens or both? I can't remember, but, they got him from somewhere.
On the Chiefs.
I think so. I think he got traded or something like that. I don't know. I forgot, but they signed him to a 4-year contract. They also picked up Myles Murphy in the draft in the first round, which was a pretty good Clemson defender on the edge. Something to kind of go along with those white boys that are playing out there. What's his name? Hubbard, which was the game changer in the Ravens game. Irv Smith Jr. was picked up at tight end as well for the Bengals. So, I mean, their offensive arsenal is going to be just fine, as well as their offensive line. Zach Davis is a great head coach. Their defense is above average. It's never been fantastic, but it's above average, and they're going to be able to, with people like Jermaine Pratt and Hubbard and Myles Murphy and Jesse Bates, if he's still there.
He's on the Falcons now.
He's on the Falcons now. Okay, yeah, that's right. So, but we'll see how their defense hold up. But for now, I got them at number 2. I think they're a great football team, and I think they deserve to be in there.
Yeah. So it looks like we should just talk together with the last one because the first one we're both going to have the same team.
Well, let's. Who is it?
Yeah, but before we get to that, number 2, I have the Philadelphia Bulldogs.
Respect.
And for y'all who don't know who the Philadelphia Bulldogs are, it's the Eagles who drafted every person that's been on the Georgia championship teams in the last 2 years. you know, they arguably got the steal of the draft because of character issues, and they also got Nolan Smith, and I guess they got Dean. They still have a coach that knows how to work with the players you have. They got probably a top 6, top 5, top 7 wide receiver in AJ Brown, and also Devontae Smith, who is probably a top 3, number 2 wide receiver you can have in the league. And then they still have Jalen Hurts, who's effective with his legs. And then they have you add someone like DeAndre Swift, if he can stay healthy. He can make some noise. He's always in the dog pound, and um, when he was with the Detroit Lions. But that being said, they still got the runner up for MVP. They have the one of the guys who got what's his name, Reddick, the one they called Michael
Yeah,
Parsons.
Hassan Reddick.
Yeah, I mean,
He's better than Parsons.
Jordan Davis is going to have more playing time this year. He's probably going to be a big contributor to that defense. And you mentioned as well, I do believe as well that they're going to be neck to neck with the Cowboys in the NFC East. And it really just comes down to who can stay healthier the longest.
Very true. Yeah, I think that is probably the most true statement and most applicable statement you can put between the two teams. I think they're dead even, dead even. So I cannot wait to see a primetime Sunday night football game, Jalen Hurts versus Dak Prescott. Like that's TV.
December 10th in Dallas Stadium.
December 10th, AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Let's get it. Mark your calendars. We're buying NFL Sunday ticket, by the way, whether you like it or not.
Oh, no, I'm totally against. I don't even like football anymore.
I hate football.
Where's football?
All right, well, now we got the number one. I wonder who it is. It's the Kansas City Chiefs.
Is your reasoning because they have Mahomes?
Yeah.
Okay, same here.
That's about it. Yeah.
All right, that's all y'all need to know. Just Mahomes healthy.
It's Mahomes.
Mahomes healthy.
We learned last year not to doubt them because we're like, oh yeah, they're not as good as then boom, 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 just momentum, just all the way up through the season, and then with the twisted ankle, oh my gosh, yeah, Mahomes he proved he was one of a kind. I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback better, but obviously they're returning Super Bowl champs. We all know this. There's a rise of wide receiver talent as well. They've got Kadarius Toney. Hopefully, if he stays healthy, he's an electric ball player, and Andy Reid can easily get him the ball. And as well as Justin Ross, who has shown some signs of development. He was hurt all last year. He was a phenom at Clemson, but got drafted low because he was hurt. So we'll see if that has something to do with their offense. But, they lost Juju Smith-Schuster, Mecole Hardman. Eric Bieniemy departed to a poverty franchise where he's going to fail. And then they drafted Rashee Rice, the SMU wide receiver, as well to kind of patch up that young, talented wide receiver core. And last but not least, and this is my favorite pickup that they had, was they got the cornerback Lamar Jackson off the waivers, which I think is just a phenomenal. He's played for Baltimore the last couple of years as their captain, and he switched positions now to cornerback, so he'll be starting on the defensive side of the ball because he can't throw worth a shit for the Chiefs.
You sound like the haters when he was coming out of Louisville. They said, "Move the wide receiver."
Yeah, like Tebow.
Football, move the wide receiver.
Yeah, like Tebow. They were like, "You ought to play tight end."
Hey, I've seen some boy. You're a great athlete, son, but man, you're not gonna be able to make it with the big. You need to go down low with your hand in the trenches, learn to catch the passes.
Yeah, it worked well with Taysom Hill.
Hey, that's the white Debo right there.
That's the white Debo.
So it looks like with your list, you're going number 5, 49ers, number 4, Cowboys, number 3, Eagles, number 2, Bengals, and number 1, Chiefs for your way too early NFL rankings.
Correct.
That will be the Rooks, and the kid has Cowboys at number 5, Bengals at number 4, Niners at number 3, Eagles at number 2, and my homeboy at number 1.
My homeboy. Did you make like a 6 through 10 or anything? Did you look at that at all?
Yeah, I did list the 6 through 10 as well. I didn't know how.
All right, just shoot the teams out there.
All right, number 6 Bills, number 7 Chargers, number 8 Jags, number 9 Dolphins, and number 10 Lions.
Let's go, dude. Okay, I had number 6 Dolphins, number 7 Bills, 8 Jets, 9 Chargers, 10 Detroit Lions. Let's go, bro. Same wavelength, bro. I don't know how we keep doing that. That's live. Yeah, yeah. They deserve to be in there. They deserve to be in there.
Yeah, the Jets. I didn't even think about the Jets. They might slip in there, but they're going to be good too. They're definitely.
Yeah, but I like your list. I thought about putting the Chargers higher as well because, I mean, I think they're going to light up the scoreboard offensively with the guy like Herbert and Kellen Moore's mindset.
Yeah, I think Kellen Moore is really going to help them out.
Yeah, I think he fits well with Herbert's talent.
Because it's like when you think about. I know I'm not trying to get too off topic. Kind of this. I'll kind of briefly hit on this. But the Chargers, they have a good defense, but the problem was they couldn't score points that much. They're kicking too many field goals and all that.
Jason Garrett.
Yeah, with the
2.0.
The defense that they have, and then, getting Kellen Moore, who, is known to kind of run up the scoreboard, and a quarterback who is very talented, they can score about 28 to 30 points a game, and then their defense only gives up, you have to be able to outscore them. And, I think they're going to shock a little bit of people. They might give the Chiefs a little tough time in the AFC West over there.
It's going to be another fun division. I mean, Chargers, Chiefs, Raiders. It's going to be another fun year. Last year was a disappointment with Denver as well. Maybe Denver shapens their act with Sean Payton. That was our first podcast, bro. Remember?
That's right.
Our first podcast was Sean Payton going to the Denver Broncos.
And the next one was a Woj bomb.
A Woj bomb, yeah. Which there's been a lot of those, so we'll probably get to those next week at some point. Let's get into our track records of the week. I'm going to let you start this one off. If you don't know what our track records are, these are lyrics, an artist, or a song that you want to shout out each week, and we kind of drop them here and explain why we wanted them as our track record of the week. So the kid opens up with his track record of the week, and I'll follow.
Track record of the week is done by a top 5 white boy of all time. His name is Justin Timberlake, and the song is called "What Goes Around Comes Around," and the lyrics I'm taking from that song is "What goes around comes around." It's a little bit of a tongue biter, but just that song's been stuck in my head. Just kind of there's not much to say about it unless you just know just what goes.
That's a fantastic song.
And Justin Timberlake, I got to shout him out. He's a top 5 white boy of all time.
We got to support our own race sometimes when we can.
If y'all can list me 5 white boys better than Justin Timberlake, I am all ears. But I talked
George
about
Washington, Christopher Columbus,
Elon
Musk, which he's South African,
and Christian Bale.
and Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, so I had a little side conversation with one of my buddies, and I was like, can you name me 5 white boys better than JT? Because I was like, I can't.
I don't think you can do it.
He's legit top 5. He's like, oh yeah, for sure. And I was like, yeah.
Name me 5 white boys better than JT, bro. You can't.
I was like, name me 5 better. He's like, and he's looked at me and said, this motherfucker don't miss. And I was like, nah, he's fucking good.
He's good. He don't miss. He's good.
You don't miss.
So you don't think Eminem's better than JT?
I got asked that question last night, and I'm going.
It's a tough one.
I'm going JT.
Going JT.
Eminem kind of he changed the game, but JT, R&B, he's just crazy.
Yeah.
Shout out JT, but that would be my track record of the week. Justin Timberlake, "What Goes Around Comes Around."
That's good. That was like the first song that I truly, really. I remember I was going to Orwell Little League baseball games, and I was like, I had that song along with maybe 50 others that were on my iPod shuffle, and I played "What Goes Around Comes Around" on replay before every Little League game. So I didn't know what it meant; it just sounded cool. And then now that I knew what it meant, and I've been through, I was like, yeah, that's a good song. So mine is actually from Zach Bryan from his album that he released with a bunch of American Heartbreak, I think is what's called. It's called "Open the Gates." So the line goes, "Open the gates, I'm here to ride. To hell I go with Daddy by my side." So I thought this was really cool. I just graduated college not too long ago. I'm in the real world. We're exploring this podcast, but I got the dad by my side. I got his genetics. I got his mindset. I'm adopting it as best as I can, and I think it goes along with my favorite Bible verses, which my school when I was growing up was like our theme, and I always used it since I left high school. It's Isaiah 6:8. To sum it up, to paraphrase it, it's "Here am I, send me." So trying to get out there, attack life. So I feel like that. And the song is kind of not really. It's actually a really interesting song. If you go listen to it, it's kind of like about a bull rider. And kind of open the gates and just let it ride. But this little quote, I kind of took into a different direction. But if you haven't listened to Zach Bryan, I highly recommend it. He's a pretty good rambling Austin vibe country singer. But yeah, that's my track record of the week.
You almost made me choke up, bro. Who cut the onions?
Who cut the motherfucking onions? Yeah, so that's a wrap for Track 3 UFC 420. So if you guys check out in the comments, we're going to have a poll down there below the Spotify that asks you who's going to win between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg if the fight happens. Who's your UFC 420 ballot? We're also going to have a prize picks thing up where you can bet on the two through us. So you just send us money, and then whoever wins in that tournament, we just keep the money anyway because we need to pay for equipment. But no, so next week we're going to be covering some Russian military coup that's been going on against Vladimir Putin, which has been very, very interesting to watch as the war in Ukraine continues to progress and the United States continues its involvement. So that'll be interesting to talk about. We might have a guest on pretty soon. We're getting close. We're getting very, very close. I keep saying that, but it's a freaking process. So, let your nuts hang and just deal with it. Carry it like a purse. Gosh. Anyway, so appreciate you guys. The kid, always a pleasure. We'll be seeing you next Wednesday for our next episode, Track 4. And we hope you guys listen. Go subscribe on YouTube at the Trak Podcast, TRAK, or at track.pod on Instagram, or at the Trak Podcast on Spotify. We really appreciate, most of all, on Spotify, if you go follow, listen, download if you can, rate it 5 stars, answer the polls, just interact with us, and we'd like to interact back, like we always say. Share the wealth. So,
share the wealth. How are we supposed to grow?
How are we supposed to grow? How the hell are we supposed to grow? All right.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good rest of y'all's week.